Santana, they were saying you was with him. They were saying that
do you know how much
no beard?
Do you know how much that used to piss me off?
They would. I never believed it, but I know Santana seen it. That's
Girl,
why
I used to be on YouTube like, ew. I'm like, first of all, I don't even motherfucking play that. We ain't doing that.
Okay.
We ain't doing that. And Carisha ain't with nothing that's gay, baby. She'll even play that.
Okay.
So it was just like, I'm just like, and that affected me. I'm like, that's corny. Why are y'all saying that I'm my best friend? Like, come on, what is we doing?
I mean, what's your tea? Like,
yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not my best friend. Though.
Yeah.
Because these is out here.
So I do want to talk about.
I'm not giving it.
But if Gene said he seen it, but we heard him tell Fabulous, I want to have a party.
Oh, man, come on,
what that mean?
Man.
That means a party behind the scenes of a party.
Listen, man, for the record.
That sounds like some Illuminati shit. You got to explain the party
that's
part.
some Saucy Santana shit.
Nah, stop it.
Stop.
Now that we got there.
No, stop.
You the one said maybe the girl, Saucy, and Puffy having parties. Don't act like you didn't say that.
Man,
don't tuck your tail, bro.
Hold up, Ice Cream
Don't
Chuck.
tuck your tail
I gotta
down.
say this because I'm here. I've been
I
to
fuck
Puff
with the
House
city
in
girl.
Miami.
Really?
Yeah, that's a fact. Man, Puff did the Yo Style. Puff did the Yo Style remix.
You can't ask questions. I can.
Okay, you're right.
Damn. Shit. All right. Give it a round of applause. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Question right here. Do you ever put your friend's business out on social media?
Yeah.
Why?
They do it to me.
Who?
Young Miami.
No, she don't.
Yeah, she do.
What she said about you?
She said a lot.
No, she don't.
She put my personal business out there. That's how I started Crucial Please, because she just kept naming multiple men that I was dating just to the world.
Nobody was ready for this. Not the fans, not the blogs, and definitely not Young Miami. Because Saucy Santana just flipped the whole internet on its head with an expose so messy, it makes Diddy's federal case look like child's play. From shocking HIV allegations to a supposed roster of sugar daddies and secret hookups with industry power players, Santana is naming names, spilling receipts, and torching every bridge on his way out. But the gag? He says Young Miami started it, and now he's finishing it. And if even a fraction of what he's alleging is true, this isn't just celebrity drama. This is a full-blown brand demolition. So the question isn't who's telling the truth. It's who's about to lose everything. The internet is in absolute chaos right now because Saucy Santana just detonated the kind of bomb that doesn't just start drama, it ends careers. With a single string of jaw-dropping claims, he's accusing his former bestie, City Girls rapper Young Miami, of allegedly infecting multiple high-profile men with HIV, and baby, he did not stop there. Santana says these aren't just random hookups. These are elite, wealthy, powerful men whose reputations would crumble if even a hint of this tea proves true. And he's not just talking. He's naming names, hinting at financial receipts, and dragging private jets, NDA parties, and secret sugar daddy arrangements into the spotlight. According to him, Young Miami's entire boss babe persona might be nothing more than a glossy facade, paid for by powerful men who thought they were buying privacy, not a potential death sentence. And fans? They're shook. The moment Santana started dropping breadcrumbs, the internet did what it always does, started connecting the dots. And it didn't take long before all fingers pointed straight to one man, Sean Diddy Combs. The same man currently under fire in a federal investigation. The same man who, according to online whispers, has been fighting his own health battles in silence. Santana's allegations didn't come out of nowhere. They arrived with timing so precise, it felt almost surgical, right as Diddy's legal situation heats up and Miami's brand image is hanging by a thread. Is it a coincidence? Or is Santana firing a warning shot? But that's not even the wildest part. Because not only is Santana implying that Young Miami allegedly exposed powerful men to HIV, he's also accusing her of selling access, allegedly climbing the industry ladder with more than just talent and Instagram likes. Private deals, pillow talk turned power moves, and now, a revenge campaign so calculated it could put an entire label in jeopardy. Suddenly, the City Girls era isn't looking so icy. It's looking infected, exploited, and dangerously unstable. So now the question isn't just what did Santana say? It's why is he saying it now? Is this a petty friendship fallout gone nuclear? Or is Santana blowing the whistle on an entire underworld of silence, secrets, and sex for power trades in the music industry? Is this revenge or a full-blown industry takedown? Before the internet exploded with HIV accusations, sugar daddy exposés, and viral think pieces about secret NDAs, there was just Saucy Santana and Young Miami, two besties who seemed inseparable, always side by side, always hyping each other up, always locked in like a real city girl and material girl duo. But as it turns out, the friendship that fans thought was all glitter and giggles may have been rotting from the inside for years. Because according to Santana, the first crack in their relationship didn't start with a subtweet. It started with Diddy. Allegedly, Young Miami tried to orchestrate something behind the scenes that Santana wasn't even remotely comfortable with. According to him, she began pressuring him to entertain Diddy romantically, like full-on matchmaking him into the billionaire's orbit. But this wasn't no innocent, y'all would look cute together moment. No, Santana says Miami was pushing hard. Pushing even after he said no. Pushing even when it got awkward. Pushing like there was something she stood to gain if he gave in. And that's when things started to feel off. See, Diddy and Young Miami already had their very public, very messy, very confusing situationship going on. They were never officially together, but she was riding jets, rocking diamonds, and captioning thirst traps like she was the queen of bad boy. So why? Fans started wondering, would she want her best friend getting close to the same man who was allegedly bankrolling her lifestyle? Was this some kind of power play? Was it jealousy in disguise? Or was she trying to control Santana's proximity to power while still keeping him under her thumb? Whatever the reason, Santana says he shut it down. Repeatedly. Firmly. He made it clear he wasn't interested in Diddy that way, especially not while Diddy was still entertaining Miami. But instead of respecting his boundaries, Miami allegedly kept pushing. And when he finally began to distance himself to protect his peace, that's when the real shift happened. The texts slowed down. The invites stopped coming. The laughs turned into silence. And their friendship, once so visible, so vibrant, suddenly faded out like a story we weren't meant to hear. But the mess didn't stop there. Because not long after the tension bubbled over, rumors started swirling that Santana and Diddy were actually spending time together, privately. Now, whether or not anything happened is still up for debate, but the internet didn't need proof. The whispers turned into full-on gossip. And Young Miami? Instead of shutting it down, Santana claims she fueled it. He says she was the one leaking stories to blogs and whispering in industry circles that he and Diddy were messing around, knowing full well the backlash that could come his way. Knowing how quick the culture is to question a man's sexuality, especially in hip-hop. Knowing exactly what she was doing. It was betrayal disguised as shade. And for Santana, that's when things really broke beyond repair. What started as a friendship built on laughs and loyalty had turned into a slow-motion sabotage. And whether she was acting out of jealousy, spite, or something darker, Santana finally decided he was done playing nice. He wasn't just going to fall back. He was going to fight back. Now the world is watching the ruins of that friendship crumble in real time. But if this is what's coming out now, what else has been buried for years? Now let's talk about the third piece of this messy triangle. The bad boy himself, Sean Diddy Combs. Because whether he meant to or not, Diddy became the silent center of a spiraling drama that went from whispered gossip to full-blown scandal. And depending on who you ask, his role in the Santana, Young Miami fallout wasn't just incidental. It might have been the spark that lit the entire fuse. See, once the tension between Santana and Miami began to simmer, people started noticing something strange. Despite Santana allegedly shutting down any romantic involvement with Diddy early on, they still somehow ended up around each other. And that alone was enough to send the rumor mill into overdrive. Fans started asking, were they sneaking around? Was Miami jealous? Was Santana lying? Or was this just one big industry entanglement with hush money and hush vibes? And then came that viral moment. Whack 100, never one to hold his tongue. hit the airwaves, and casually dropped a bomb that sent social media spiraling. He claimed Diddy had been hosting freaky wild parties, with both Young Miami and Saucy Santana in attendance. Now, he didn't say exactly what went down behind those velvet rope doors, but his tone made it clear it wasn't just cocktails and conversations. And when he was pushed to explain what he meant by parties, he got real cryptic. Eyes widened, tongues wagged, and before you knew it, the internet was deep diving into old footage, old interviews, and blurry photos, trying to piece together what really happened in Diddy's Miami mansion. The speculation was relentless. People began questioning whether Diddy's high-profile relationship with Young Miami was ever real to begin with, or if she was just a beautiful distraction. A carefully curated front to keep attention off his real preferences and personal life, especially as rumors about Diddy's sexuality continued to resurface, louder than ever. Suddenly, every look, every interaction, every Instagram story was being reanalyzed under a whole new lens. And with federal investigations breathing down Diddy's neck, fans weren't just gossiping, they were hunting for clues. But here's where it gets twisty. Santana publicly denied everything. In interviews, he seemed genuinely frustrated by the idea that people thought he had something going on with Diddy. He called the rumors corny, said it made him uncomfortable, and insisted that he and Miami were just best friends, that they had each other's backs and would never cross those lines. He even went so far as to say that Miami herself doesn't play when it comes to anything gay, emphasizing that neither of them would be involved in something so scandalous. But that denial didn't sit right with everyone, because while Santana was saying one thing, the timeline was showing something very different. The more he tried to push back, the more people doubled down. Fans pointed out inconsistencies, questioned the timing, and started to believe that where there's smoke, there just might be fire. And once Santana and Diddy were spotted together without Miami in the picture, the internet made up its mind. This wasn't just shade, it was a full-on cover-up. So now the real question becomes, was Diddy just the unfortunate center of a messy friend feud, or was he a knowing participant in a very calculated triangle of power, money, and manipulation? And if Santana was really forced into Diddy's orbit by Young Miami, only to get ghosted when the heat turned up, then who's really pulling the strings in this saga? Because at this point, it's not just about who's sleeping with who. It's about who had control, who had motive, and who's about to lose everything if the wrong receipts hit the internet. Now here's where things go from messy to downright sinister. Because if you ask Saucy Santana, the real villain in this story isn't Diddy. It's Young Miami. According to Santana, everything that went down, the rumors, the whispers, the viral blog posts suggesting he was Diddy's new flame, none of it was organic. None of it was random. He says it was a strategic hit job, launched by someone who once called him sister, but allegedly couldn't stomach the thought of him becoming more powerful than her. Santana claims Young Miami deliberately leaked the story about him and Diddy as a form of sabotage. Not because it was true, but because she feared it could be. See, in Santana's eyes, Miami didn't just want to cut him off. She wanted to discredit him, destroy him, smear his name in the dirtiest, loudest, most humiliating way possible before he could make his next move. And if that sounds personal, it is. Because to hear Santana tell it, this wasn't about a misunderstanding or a shady tweet. It was about jealousy, fear, control. He believes Miami saw how close he was getting to Diddy, even if it wasn't romantic, and she panicked. Why? Because he was a rising star in his own right. He didn't need to sleep with anyone to get in the room. He had already built a name, a brand, a movement, and that made him dangerous. For years, Santana stood next to Miami and played the funny best friend, the background hype man. But behind the scenes, the industry was watching him. Brands were calling. Producers were reaching out. The spotlight was shifting. And to someone like Miami, who built her whole identity around being the it girl of the moment, watching her plus one suddenly threaten to outshine her, that wasn't just inconvenient. That was unacceptable. So what did she do? Santana says she weaponized the one thing she knew the industry would latch onto, his sexuality. She allegedly planted the narrative that he and Diddy were involved, knowing full well what that would do to his reputation. Not just in hip-hop, but in black culture. Not just in the media, but in the streets. Because while Santana has always been out and proud, there's a difference between being gay and being accused of clout-chasing a closeted billionaire. That's not representation. That's ammunition. And Santana believes she handed that bullet to the blogs on purpose. And here's the kicker. He says he has the proof. While he hasn't released full receipts yet, Santana has hinted at DMs, voice notes, and behind-the-scenes conversations that paint a much darker picture of their friendship. Allegedly, Miami didn't just spread the story. She helped shape it, controlled who got what info, who posted it, and how it was framed. And when the story blew up, when Santana started getting dragged, mocked, and painted as an opportunist, she stayed silent, didn't defend him, didn't clarify, didn't even check in. To Santana, that silence was louder than any blog post. It was confirmation that she had finally revealed her true face, not as a friend, but as a competitor. A woman who didn't mind getting dirty to protect her brand, even if it meant stepping on the very person who helped build it with her. So now, fans are asking, was Young Miami ever really Santana's friend? Or was she just keeping him close enough to control? And once she couldn't, she cut him off at the knees? Because if what Santana's saying is true, then this wasn't just petty drama. It was a takedown. And now, the real tea is, he survived it, and he's ready to return the favor. Just when you thought the drama had peaked, Santana took it to an entirely new level. In what can only be described as a digital detonation, he lobbed the kind of accusation that doesn't just trend, it haunts. According to Santana, Young Miami wasn't just jealous or petty, she was dangerous. Because allegedly, she wasn't just sleeping with Diddy for clout or cash. Santana claims she was doing it raw. And in the heat of their feud, he dropped the bomb. That Young Miami may have contracted HIV from Diddy, and worse, passed it unknowingly to others. Let that sink in. Santana didn't just throw shade. He named the unnameable. He cracked open a door into a world of alleged silent suffering, risky relationships, and secrets so dark that even industry insiders were stunned into silence. The internet exploded. TikTok sleuths dug up clips of Miami looking tired, thinner, distracted. People started revisiting interviews, watching old City Girls performances, claiming her energy had shifted. Fans speculated that the Kershaw Please host had gone from bold to borderline withdrawn. Was it stress, or something more sinister? And then came the flashback receipts. Longtime gossip watchers remembered the whispers about Diddy's own health. How years ago, there were blind items and murmurs about a major music mogul quietly battling a life-altering illness. The dots started connecting. People dug up grainy club footage showing Diddy looking unusually gaunt. Rumors swirled about NDAs, hush payments, private doctors, and artists in his circle suddenly going ghost. Suddenly, Santana's claim didn't seem like a petty reach. It looked like an industry-wide cover-up cracking open in real time. No confirmation, no denial, just digital chaos. And the silence from Young Miami? Deafening. No statement, no tweet, no clapback, just more promotional posts and business as usual branding. But fans weren't buying it. They flooded the comments, asked questions she wouldn't answer. And for the first time in a long time, the baddest chick from the 305 didn't seem so untouchable. Because this wasn't about music anymore. This was about health, consent, and the chilling possibility that some people in the industry are risking everything, including other people's lives, for a seat at the billionaire table. Now let's talk money. Because behind every messy celebrity feud is a trail of cash, contracts, and quiet deals that make the whole machine spin. And when Diddy allegedly cut off Young Miami, not just romantically, but financially, she didn't fold. She just moved on to the next bag. Enter Pierre P. Thomas. Yes, that P, CEO of Quality Control, label exec, and one of the most sought-after sugar daddies in the rap game. As soon as Diddy faded into the background, insiders say Miami started popping up more and more around P. And this wasn't about music, it was about maintenance, lifestyle, leverage. People who once spotted her riding yachts with Diddy were now clocking her at exclusive QC events and private dinners with P. The message was clear: one mogul out, another mogul in. But here's where it gets strategic. This wasn't love. It was survival. Miami's entire brand, City Girls, Kershaw Please, her influencer deals, is built on the illusion of luxury. Designer bags, private jets, iced out everything. When the funding dried up, she didn't have time to cry about it. She needed a new pipeline, and fast. P offered stability, discretion, and enough industry pull to keep her afloat, while the Diddy scandal threatened to drown her. Some fans even speculate she's got multiple sponsors, silent investors in her glam, her brands, and her image. Old men with deep pockets and deeper NDAs. It's giving kept woman, but with a digital twist. Because these sugar daddy setups aren't playing out in hotel rooms. They're showing up as brand partnerships, podcast expansions, and curated social media illusions. So now, when you see young Miami flaunting her Chanel and sipping cocktails in Turks and Caicos, just know that money didn't come from Spotify. It came from somewhere else. Someone else. And if Santana's claims are true, she's been cashing checks from multiple men to keep her empire from collapsing. But with federal eyes on Diddy and social media combing through every frame, the question becomes, how long can she keep up the act before the whole pyramid crumbles? Just when it looked like the sugar daddy circuit was her only safety net, there's one more plot twist in young Miami's arsenal: her baby daddy. Southside. The same Southside who once beefed with Diddy over Miami. The same Southside who's been eerily quiet while all this unfolds. See, Santana didn't just throw allegations about health and sugar daddies. He implied that Miami's been quietly doubling back to Southside, not just for co-parenting, but for coins. Allegedly, the two have been linking up behind the scenes, not romantically, but financially. Word is, Southside's been funneling support to Miami that's technically labeled as child support, but might actually be doing a whole lot more. Insiders whisper that Miami's been using that arrangement as a clever loophole, getting funds without public accountability. Think private transfers, luxury gifts for their daughter, and just enough cash flow to keep the image polished while avoiding the optics of being broke or abandoned. But is it real support or hush money? Because let's be honest, Southside has every reason to want to protect his child's mother from the public unraveling happening right now. Not just for her, but for his daughter's future. But if Santana's to be believed, Miami is playing every man in her orbit like chess pieces. Diddy for fame, P for financial backup, and Southside for long-term cushion. All while keeping her public image pristine. So now we have to ask, is young Miami a victim of industry betrayal, or a master manipulator playing the long game while the world watches? Because from Diddy's scandal to Santana's sabotage claims, the HIV bombshell, and the sugar daddy connections, every piece of this puzzle leads to one chilling possibility. She's not just surviving the storm. She might have engineered it. For someone who built her brand on being loud, unfiltered, and unapologetically in your face, young Miami's current silence is suspicious. Not a tweet, not a clapback, not even a cryptic Instagram story with a Bible verse or snake emoji. Just silence. And if you know how this game works, you know that kind of quiet doesn't mean peace. It usually means war, the kind being waged behind closed doors with crisis managers, brand executives, and legal teams on standby. Because let's be clear, Kershaw is not stupid. She's media trained, brand protected, and well aware of how one wrong move could shatter everything she's built. Which is why fans are now asking, is her silence a PR strategy? Or is it an admission without words? The industry has seen this before. When the allegations get too dark, too risky, too real, sometimes the best move is no move. Don't deny it, don't confirm it. Just let the news cycle spin itself out. But the problem with that approach is this story isn't dying. It's growing. And every day she refuses to speak, the speculation gets louder. Santana's narrative becomes the dominant one. And in the court of public opinion, silence sounds a lot like guilt. Some people believe she's being advised to stay quiet because acknowledging the HIV allegation would escalate it into legal territory, defamation suits, medical privacy violations, and potential class action backlash if certain partners feel deceived. Others think she's staying quiet to protect someone else. Maybe Diddy, maybe her daughter, maybe herself. Because once you speak on something this heavy, you can't take it back. It becomes part of your permanent record. But here's the catch. In a culture where silence used to be protection, it now reads like confirmation. And if this truly isn't true, then why not deny it? Unless she can't. So now we're left with a scandal still unraveling in real time. Friendships destroyed. Reputations in free fall. A-list figures like Diddy facing federal heat while rumors swirl about NDAs, hush money, and health crises. Saucy Santana may have opened Pandora's box, but it's the industry's reaction, or lack thereof, that's most telling. Everyone's watching. No one's talking. And the few who are might not survive the fallout. If even one piece of Santana's story is true, about the HIV, the sugar daddies, the sabotage, the silent sponsors, it would mean that some of the most powerful names in hip-hop have been covering up more than just scandal. They've been protecting a culture of deception, exploitation, and silence at the expense of public health and personal safety. What happens if receipts drop? What happens if someone files a lawsuit? What happens if the federal investigation into Diddy leads to subpoenas that force the truth into the spotlight? Because let's be real, this isn't just about messy friendships or petty jealousy. This is about health disclosures, sexual ethics, financial coercion, and image manipulation on a billion-dollar scale. Young Miami may be trying to move in silence, but the noise around her is getting louder by the minute. And if this pressure keeps building, someone's going to crack. And when they do, we won't just be talking about a city girl falling from grace. We'll be watching the entire industry scramble to cover the mess. So here's the question. Is this the end of the story? Or just the beginning of a scandal that could take down everything we thought we knew about fame, loyalty, and survival in the music game? Stay tuned. This isn't over.